And if people want to show out of me, baby, it's finna be a whole cinema on my soul.
Hello, besties. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking. Kindly subscribe to this beautiful channel. So, in today's video, we'll be talking about ladies sharing their worst experience living with romance. So, you guys, I put the videos together so that you watch and enjoy, and I'll be back to share my true sense, what I think about today's video.
And if people want to show out of me, baby, it's finna be a whole cinema on my soul, baby. It's finna be a whole cinema because y'all know why did I have a roommate, right? It's August 20th. She ain't been here since July 20th. She hasn't paid me any money. She owes me over $700. I texted her yesterday to ask her when is she gonna give it to me. She doesn't reply. I call her today. I text her again. She texts me and says, why would I respond to you if I haven't yet? I read your message, obviously, so why would I respond? Starts to talking out the side of her neck. Okay, baby, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. So then she starts proceeding to talk to me out the side of her neck continuously, telling me that it's she's sorry that I can't afford my bills and Mind y'all, TikTok, the bills are paid. Mind you, TikTok, the bills are paid, baby. I never needed help. This bitch was living in a fucking roach infested house, sleeping in a living room with somebody's daughter, okay, and was crying to me about how she had nowhere for her and her son to go. So I invited her to my 3-bedroom because I live by myself in my 3-bedroom that I've lived in for 3 years. So baby's not going anywhere unless I want to. Yeah, all of that. But yeah, she said she was gonna pull up. She was about to bring the police. She called me a lot of names. Called me a lot of names, which I'm gonna get to after all of this stuff goes down. I'm gonna make a whole video and give y'all the whole 10-9 rundown. But for right now, baby, I'm finna go charge my phone so I can make sure that I'm live when the police pull up so I can show y'all how I'm finna dub this lady. Cause you don't win when it comes to me. You don't win when it comes to me. You don't win when it comes to me. Nobody wins when it comes to me. So stop trying to go against me because you're not gonna win. So yeah, I'm finna show you better than I can tell you. So I hope when the police get here, they know what they're talking about. Yeah.
So I got into literally, I think the biggest fight I've ever gotten into with my roommate last night. And I don't know if you can tell by these awful dark circles and under eye bags, but I literally got no sleep. And honestly, I want to talk about it because number one, I'm still so hurt and angry and upset that I just need to get it out. And also some of you might relate to having an awful roommate situation. And she's blocked on everything, by the way, so she's not going to see this. But my roommate, my girl roommate, I live with a couple, so her and her boyfriend, she is quite literally one of the most disrespectful and inconsiderate people I think I've ever met in my life. We have had problems in the past, but I have always obviously wanted a very peaceful and livable household. So when we have had issues in the past, we've been able to sit down and have been like, look, you know, this is what happened and this is kind of like how it made me feel. Like let's figure this out basically. I don't want to live in a hostile environment and I need fucking peace in my life. And I've just come to realize that this person is so deeply inconsiderate and probably so deeply miserable in her own existence as a human being that she can't live peacefully and she can't approach issues peacefully. Regardless of who it is that you live with, no two people are the same, okay? So you're gonna have different ways of living and things are just gonna come up in a roommate situation. And the way you communicate when these problems come up and the way you handle it says everything. Anyway, so I'm at work and she starts blowing up my fucking phone over an issue that could have been resolved had we had an in-person conversation and sat down. But instead, she literally fucking attacked me and said I've never been spoken to this way. Like the most disgusting, foul ass fucking language. My best friend and I have been friends for 8 years. We lived together previously for 3 years. We've gotten into some fights, okay? In any friendship, you're gonna have a fight. My best friend and I have never ever once spoken to each other this way or ever even remotely got as close to being as disrespectful as the way this bitch talked to me last night. When we all moved in together, we had the agreement that we were not going to do the like splitting food thing. Like this is your food, this is my food. Basically, the agreement that we came to is if you ate something and you finish the last of it, you replace it, right? Understandable. And it's been this way for the last 6 months since we've all lived together. And so I ate and finished off the last of one of her snacks, reordered it. Literally, it arrived yesterday. And in this argument, this bitch had the audacity to say to me, you wouldn't have eaten all my food if you didn't have a raging eating disorder. Girl, what the fuck? Literally, who talks to somebody like who says something like that to a person? Especially when when we've had conversations at length about my history of disordered eating. Also, I don't know if you can hear their dog screaming his head off in the back, but every time they leave him, their dog does this and howls for hours and barks his head off. Anyway, what transpired after this conversation was basically the both of them trying to essentially intimidate me and bully me out of moving out of my own fucking house, which is not gonna happen, okay? Paid a fat ass deposit to move into this beautiful big home. And now she wants to like act like a fucking victim. And she's like, oh, we're being, now we have to live together against our own will. She wants to act like a victim in a problem she created. And the situation has me so upset and so angry. But I've also realized, like, how sad for her. Like how sad that a grown-ass fucking adult has, number one, zero communication skills, zero conflict resolution skills, and is so deeply heinous and foul and just an outright fucking mean girl. Like, you're a mean girl at 27? Gross. And I deeply believe that people like this and who she is her own karma. And it sucks that I have to live with this evil bitch for 6 more months, but it is what it is.
I can't believe I'm telling this story. Here are some reasons why I will never have roommates ever again. So, one time my roommate was being cheated on with her best friend. Like, her best friend was doing a nasty with her man. So obviously that would piss anyone off, but she took it to a whole nother extreme. One day she went to go slash this girl's tires because she knew where she was, but during the process of her doing that, her car wouldn't start or basically died. So she came back to our house while everyone was sleeping, because this isn't like the dead of night, and she took my car without asking me to go slash this girl's tires. So now it's the morning and she tells us, me and my other roommate, everything that happened the night before, like everything that was going on, what she did, what time everything was, but conveniently left out that she took my car. So now I'm going to my car and I get in the car, I start the car, and I look to my right and realize there's knives in my passenger seat. So I put 2 and 2 together and realized she took my car to commit a crime. So now this next story is a different roommate, but basically she was being scammed by a friend of hers. This girl ended up taking like all this money from her. So she knew where she lived and she knew she lived with her parents. So she literally wanted to go pull up to the house and talk to her parents in the hopes that she can get this money back from this girl. She was nervous to go, so I suggested, like, do you want me to go for like moral support? I'll just wait in the car the whole time. And she was like, yeah, like, absolutely, I would love that. That was such a mistake, literally the worst mistake I could have made, because things ended up going south and the girl that scammed her basically came to the car and tried to fight me. I wasn't even part of this. I didn't even know her. She pulled me out of the car by my hair and tried to fight me. Maybe I'm just too freaking nice, but I should have never even went. I should have just stayed my little ass home. Another time, this is a different roommate now. We would obviously all share a bathroom. There was a bunch of us that lived in a house and we would all share a bathroom, which means that we shared a shower, we shared a toilet, we shared a garbage. One day, one of my roommates went to go take a shower with her significant other that was in the house, and they found something crazy in the shower. I just ran out of time, so
let me tell you why I don't have roommates. I had roommates before I moved to my new place and I love them. I would live with them again. But before them, I was living with a bunch of my girlfriends in college and we had all graduated, but 2 of us decided to stay. We were going to take over the rent, naturally, but the electricity bills remained in one of our roommates' names still. Now, when I moved into this house, I specifically said I didn't want to have my name on any bills because I had a bad track record with roommates who just didn't pay the bill or pay me for the bill, and then I got stuck with that check. So anyway, it's summertime and there's probably like 2 more months left before my other roommate and I are about to move out. And I came home from the hospital one day because I was working as a pharmacy technician at the time and the lights were out. No electricity, couldn't charge my phone, food going bad in the fridge. I remembered that we were getting letters in the mail addressed to this person for the light bill. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to open people's mail because that's a crime. But I committed a crime that day and I don't care. I opened her mail because I asked her if we could open it and she said no, just send it back to her, but I just never did because I didn't have the time. So I opened the mail and they said that your light bill is like 3 to 4 months past due. Now, how is it past due when we've been paying you for the bills? Long story short, she was spending the light bill money instead of paying it. So what I did was I just called the light company and said, this person doesn't live here anymore. She could deal with that. That's not my problem anymore. But it just showed me how trifling people can be, especially like people who are afraid to vocalize when they're going through something. Like we were friends. She could have said she was going through something and we would have helped her out, but she didn't. Instead, she decided to leave us for dead, and I didn't like that. So yeah, I don't have roommates because I want peace of mind and I value my peace. The next roommate I will have is my husband.
That's a video, guys. So I'm just here to share my true sense, like what I think about today's video. So, living with a roommate can be an exciting adventure, but it can also turn into an absolute nightmare. Today, we are diving into some of the most jaw-dropping stories ladies have shared about their worst experiences living with roommates. Grab a cup of tea and settle in because these stories are weird as they unbelievable. Let's start with a classic tale of a personal boundaries. Imagine moving in with someone thinking you have mature respect, only to find out your roommate has absolutely no concept of privacy. One woman shared how her roommate would constantly barge into her room without knocking, use her makeup without asking, and even borrow her clothes without returning them. In the kicker, the roommate did not even see a problem with it. Oh, we are like sisters, she said, as if that excused the behavior. But trust me, there's a difference between sisterly love and downright disrespect. Then there are the messy ones, those who make you question how they ever survived on their own. One woman talked about how her roommate would leave dirty dishes peeling up for weeks. We were talking muddy plates, cups with leftover coffee, glowing some kind of science experiment, and food wrappers all over the shared living space. She once found a half eaten slice of pizza under the couch that had been there so long it had purified. When confronted, the roommate just shrugged it off and said it's not a big deal. The lack of cleanliness turned their home into a battlefield with one constantly cleaning up after the other. But let's not forget the financial irresponsibility roommates. One story involved the woman whose roommate would conveniently forget to pay their share of the bills, whether it was rent, utilities, or even the internet bill. The excuses were endless. I got laid off, I pay you back next week, or the infamous my paycheck hasn't come yet. Meanwhile, this is the same roommate who had no problem piling on the expensive takeout and new clothes every week. Eventually, the responsible roommate had to cover the bills herself just to avoid getting evicted, which leads to constant stress and resentment. So people go through a lot, guys, okay, with the roommates. So of course there are also the loud ones too. Okay, picture this. You work in 9 to 5 job and come home exhausted, ready for some peace and quiet, but your roommate has turned the apartment to a party central even single night. One woman described her roommate as a oneable DJ who would blast music until 3 a.m., invite strangers over without warning, and treat their apartment like a nightclub. The constant noise, coupled with random people crashing
Hi
on top
guys,
of
hope
each
you're
other,
doing well on
makes
the
everything
online
fine.
dating
Even
apps.
for
So
you
today's video,
feel
I'll be
safe in
sharing
your
with
own
you
home.
things that
And
I
let's
didn't
not
know before I
overlook
joined the
the
online dating apps,
bombshells,
guys.
the roommates
So it
who
was
treat
really
you like
crazy
their
for me.
personal
So number
chef.
one thing
Okay,
that I
and
didn't
let's
know
hear.
is that
One woman shared
I
how
thought
her roommate
everyone
would
on the
eat
online
all
dating
her
apps
food
is
and then
looking for a
complain when they
serious
did not buy
relationship or
more
they're looking
groceries.
for marriage.
Imagine coming
Okay.
home after a
So
long
another
day,
thing that I didn't
looking
know on the
forward to
online
the
dating
leftovers
apps,
you
I
saved
didn't know
for
that you
dinner,
have to text
only to find
first.
your roommate
You
has
have to
eaten them
text
and
first
left
a
the empty
person. I didn't know
container in
that.
the fridge.
Another
To
thing that
make
I didn't
matters
know on
worse,
the
this
online
roommate
dating
never
apps
contributed
was
to the
I
grocery
didn't know that
budget,
people would
but
ask for
somehow
nude
always
pictures when they
expected to share
text you and
everything.
everything.
Now let's
Another
talk
thing that I
about
didn't know
roommates who
on the
are
online dating apps
just
that
plain
you
weird.
have to write your
One lady
bow. I was
recalled
so
living with
behind,
someone
guys.
who had
I know,
obsession
I
with
know.
correcting
Another thing that I
other
didn't know
people's
about the
trash.
online
Literally,
dating
her
apps
roommate would
is I'll find
rummage
different
through
people
garbage
there.
bins to
Okay,
rescue
so
items There were people
thought
from
were
different
valuable and
countries,
then
but I
bring
didn't
them
know.
home.
I didn't know that you can
Broken
find actually
furniture,
other
old clothes,
countries.
random
Another thing that I didn't know
nights,
about the online
you
dating
name
apps is
it,
that you
and
can change
hoarded it.
countries on the
The
online
apartment
dating apps
quickly
and
turned into a
target the
sin
countries you
from
want to find your
hoarders,
man
with
from.
pair of
Okay,
junk
so you can be
everywhere.
changing
Despite
countries. I
repeated
didn't know
attempts
that.
to address the
Another thing
issue,
that I
the
didn't know
roommate
on the
insisted she
online
was
dating
just
app, you
being
can move from the dating
resourceful.
app going
Some
to
stories still
WhatsApp.
go
I didn't
beyond
know.
the
I didn't
annoying
have that
habits
idea.
and
So
enter the
when I was
realm
chatting with
of
people, this
downright
is when that was
scary.
telling me.
One
So
woman
guys,
opened up about how
don't make
her
those mistakes.
experience
Okay,
living with a
so
roommate who
I
had
think I've told.
severe anger issues. Any minor disagreement would escalate into full blown shouting matches, with the roommate throwing things and slamming doors. She started to feel unsafe in her own home, constantly walking onto eggshell to avoid triggering outbursts. The final straw came when the roommate threatened her over a petty argument, forcing her to break the lens and move out. And who can forget the roommate who invited chores into your life by association? One woman recounted how her roommate boyfriend practically moved in without paying rent. He would hog the bathroom, leave a mess in the kitchen, and even argue with her as if he was paying her for the bills. It became so unbearable that she eventually had to confront both of them, which led to a massive falling out. Then there are the disappearing art roommate who will leave you high and dry without a word. Imagine waking up one morning to find that your roommate has completely moved out, taking furniture, appliances, and even some of your belongings. One woman shared how her roommate ghosted her without paying the last month's rent, leaving her to shoulder the entire financial burden. She later found out that the roommate had moved in with her boyfriend, leaving behind a trail of unpaid bills, broken trust. These stories remind us that living with someone is not always as simple as splitting the rent and sharing a Netflix account. It's about mutual respect, communication, and understanding. And when those things are missing, the experience can quickly turn into nightmare. So if you're considering getting a roommate, make sure to vet them carefully. Otherwise, you might just end up staring in your own horror story. So let me know in the comment section if you ever had roommates horror stories, or if this made you rethink either having one. Don't forget to like, okay? So a lot of people have been experiencing these things, okay? Some roommates are not to be trusted. They can just they can just steal from you everything and leave you with nothing. You come home, you found that the house is empty. We have such experiences. So you have to be very careful when you're choosing someone to live with, okay? So guys, that's a video for today. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next episode. Bye bye.